Well, hello and welcome to the book spot. This is the spot where people get their books written. Well, hello and welcome back to the book spot. This is the spot where people get their books written, folks. And I just want to thank you for tuning in and checking out the book spot tonight. I got a really, really important topic to talk about, and that is completing your book. Completing your book. Sometimes we talk about getting a book started, but you have to complete the book. Okay. So I'm Joseph McCray, author, and I am excited because there are going to be people in 2024 that will complete their book. And I'm going to give you some tips tonight on how to do that. Okay. How to do that, how to do that, how to do that. So here we go. So first is you need to have a completion date. When you set out to write a book, you should have in the back of your mind, when are you going to complete this book? I ask people when they say, you know what, I'm going to write a book. I ask them, when are you going to complete it? I know that seems kind of hard. Like, wow, they just told you, Joe, they're going to write a book, and you already asking them when they're going to complete it. Because that is really important to think about, when do you want to complete this book? 6 months, 3 months, 2 weeks, a year? When are you planning to complete it? Because that gives you an idea of how hard you're going to have to work. Okay, because it is going to be some sacrifice, it's going to be some time that you take to bring this book to pass. And so don't just keep talking about, oh, I'm gonna write this book or I'm working on this book, but think about, when are you going to complete it? Because what happens too many times is a book just goes on and on and on with never a completion date, because maybe you haven't thought about one. And then my next thing I want you to think about is, how important is it to complete your book? You have to answer that question. How important is it to complete this book? Who needs to read this book? What problem needs to be solved from your book? What answer needs to take place from your book? And that's why you do a book. You do a book because you can't be in all these places. You can't talk to all these groups. So you do a book, and it is your vehicle. It gets to the places where it is needed the most, folks. That's what your book will do. It will get to the places where it is needed the most, okay? And so, how important is it to complete your book? You have to have in mind your audience, right? You have to have in mind, who are the people that need to read this mystery? Who are the people that need to read this help book, right? This book about prayer, this book about alcohol. Who needs to read this book is what you have to be thinking about as you are writing it. Another one is, who is waiting for your book? Who is waiting for your book, right? And so there are people that are positioned and are waiting for your book because it has the answer to what they need. It has the answer. It's going to speak to them. It's going to, rejuvenate them. It's going to encourage them. It's going to make them laugh. It's going to make them feel lovely or romantic, whatever it is. So, who is waiting for your book is what I want you to start thinking about, because this is what the things that will help you to complete your book. When you think about who is waiting for your book, and I just recently went through that. I've been going through it for a while. Like, who is waiting for my book? Who's waiting for my book? Who's waiting for all those bottles, alcohol I'm telling you, folks? A lot of people are waiting for that book. A lot of people are dealing with alcohol, have loved ones dealing with alcohol, and my book will speak to that. Will speak to that, will give them some answers that they've been longing for, some answers that they have wondered about. That's what it'll do. And that's why I knew when I did it, like, hey, it's who's waiting on this book? There's some people waiting on it, folks. One more. How will you feel when you have completed your book? I'm going to tell you, folks, I'm just in like a honeymoon state. I'm just in such a exciting state. Like it's really hard for me to do other things because I'm just so excited that my book is complete. It's complete. It's on Amazon. It's some copies are on their way in my hand. Book signings are lining up. Doors are just opening like crazy. Okay, like crazy because this is a need that is in the land for an answer about alcohol. And I've always known it. And there's a lot of books out there about alcohol, but folks, there's no book out there like all those bottles alcohol I'm telling you. And I want you to think about your book. I want you to think about completing your book. I don't know the title of your book. I don't know the audience for your book. But I do know one thing. There's no greater joy than completing a book. There's no greater fulfillment, no life fulfillment than knowing that you have completed the book and you have taken what's inside of your head and you now have it in a tangible form that can be distributed throughout the land, throughout the world, folks. And that's the power of a book. I mean, it is incredible. It is incredible. There are people who will say, hey, I heard about your book. Send me the link. Bam, I just got it. My copy's coming tomorrow. Folks, it's just that easy that people can receive your thoughts. They can receive what's been on your mind. If you can package it, if you can put it in some type of form that they can receive it. You and I don't have the time to talk to all these people, but if we sit down, we get serious, we start writing that book, folks, we can be a blessing to so many people. So the book spot is here to try to encourage folks to get their book written. That's what it's about. It's about getting your book written. I know there's people out there that want to get a book written. I know it is. I want to help you. I want to tell you, you have to think about the completion date, not the start date. Because anybody can get started, start writing down some things. But I want you to think about the completion date. When is it going to get finished? When is it going to be ready to go to the press and get printed? When are you going to have that tangible form right in your hands? That's what I need you to think about. That's what I need you to think about. So that's what I stopped by here for this evening, just to say to you, let's get that book completed. Let's get it done. Let's get a date on when you're going to complete it. And let's just make it happen, folks. Let's just make it happen. It can happen. It can happen. So I'm here on Facebook, YouTube. You got a question, you got a comment, shoot it out. Let me hear you. So you can hear it live from me what I think about getting your book completed. Because there's a whole nother chapter of your life that will open up when you complete your book. Because now you gotta sell it. Sell it. You wrote it, you did all that work. You got to sell this. You got to go out there and pound the payment. You got to be diligent. You have to be persevering. You have to know that your book is important, that your book has a place in this earth, that there is an audience for your book, that there are people who are waiting to read it, that there are people whose lives are going to be changed because of what you put together, that your book has value. It has value, okay? Do not minimize the value of what you have written, that what was on your mind and you put it to paper. Don't get caught up in fear. Don't get caught up in, I can't do it. Why me? Or how can me? Or how can I do it? You can do it. It gets accomplished. It gets done. It could be successful. It can go places you could have never got to. You can see the impact of the lives of the people who will read your material because you put a lot of hard work into it and it means a lot to you, and you're going to push it till you can't push it anymore. And so that's what happens, folks. That's what happens. And so I'm here telling you as live proof. And I know you might say, well, he just sounds like he's bragging. He's just talking about. Well, I'm talking about a major life achievement, folks. All those bottles. I mean, this book goes all back to when I was a teenager, even when I was a child. Okay, so this book has been in me for a long time. Okay, the things I saw as a child, the things I experienced as a teenager. Here I am, almost approaching 60, folks, and now it is time to write about it. To write about it. All of the decades of working in the field as an addiction nurse, all the experiences, the patients I've come across. Folks, the book is loaded. Okay, it's loaded and it's released and it's now available. So it's important to me. It's important to me. And when I got stirred up to write it, I thought of a completion date. I thought of when it's going to get done. It took about a year. It took about a year to get it done. And then for a while, folks, I dragged my feet. I procrastinated. I kept saying tonight I'll do it. Tomorrow night I'll do it. But finally, the Spirit of the living God got in there and said, man, get this book done and get it done tonight. And I stayed up one night from 9 to about 2:30 in the morning and cleaned up 2 chapters. I just had 2 chapters I needed to clean up. Cleaned them up, put the citations in, sent it right off to my editor. And God confirmed it. He confirmed it, like, this is what I want you to do. And he let me know that he's working with me because guess what? This is a tool of evangelism, folks. When I tell people about alcohol, when I say alcohol, I'm telling on you, when I go to tell them about it, there are people who are going to be set free. There are people who are going to be delivered. Okay. There are people whose lives are going to be changed. Families are going to be impacted. And it's evangelism. It's a tool to let folks know that there is light on the other side of the tunnel. Okay. That there is a way, there is freedom. Okay. There's an escape. There is recovery. That's what this book is about. And I want you to know it. I want those you love will know it. And I want you to remember you got to complete your book. You got to get your book. I'm not selfish. You see, I'm not at all selfish. I'm not like I got mine. I ain't telling them people nothing. I don't mind getting on Facebook, YouTube, and letting you know how you can do it. But I need you to not be afraid. I need you to step out there and make it happen. I need you to have a completion date. I need you to realize that it's important for you to complete it. Think about who's waiting for it, okay? And think about how you're going to feel, how you're going to feel so fulfilled when you have your book, you're out there selling it, you're out there promoting it, you're out there seeing people's lives change. That's an important feeling. That's a good feeling. All right. I got a comment in here. Let me see here. I top my mouth up. And so Mr. Christopher said, what is your advice to those who want to release their book but notice there's an error? People say it's okay to release a book with errors, but I couldn't rest if I released a book that I knew had an error in it. Who should I contact to correct? I'm willing to get it proofread again. So, Mr. Chris, even the best books have an error. Even the best books will have an error, will have a word or two that's out of sync. And I've read some and say, oh, wow, look at that. Because you can get it proofread more than the average 2 times. You should at least get it proofread twice. But you can do that the third or fourth, and you will still find that somehow something get missed. And that's the industry understanding that something will get missed. But if people can read your book and come away with an overall good experience, good idea of what it was you were trying to say, um, folks look over, a word, uh, something in a sentence, because the more and more you say, well, check, 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 the more you will hold on and not release your book. I mean, I looked at my book and saw a little something. And literally it is a little something. I'm not gonna like stop, oh no, fix that before I do anything, because I know that the other 99.6% is great. It's great. Okay. So all books have a level of error, a level of error. Unfortunately, even the best artists, okay, and they may get the greatest editors out there, but they miss something. They miss something. Not huge stuff, but here and there, they will miss something. And then they'll later go back and see it and find it. But it's already out there now. It's been sold, and people have made it popular. People said this is great. You just can't catch them all. You just can't catch them all. And you can't hold back what you've worked on so long because of an error here, or maybe a slight one there. As long as it's not something where people are picking it up and it's just error, 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 they're gonna just put the book down, say forget it, not even fool with reading it. But if something is popping up just like out of nowhere, a rewording of a sentence, or maybe they used the wrong tense of a word, things like that, not enough to say scrap it. Let me get it proofread again. I wouldn't do it. And I know that there are probably others out there who would say, hey, it's just part of industry standards that you're going to have an error. You're going to have a typo, something that's going to be in the book, even if 20 people edited it. So I hope that helps you. Hope that helps you. Yeah. So we're talking about completion, getting your book completed. And I want to thank you, those who are watching and those who will watch this show. Tonight, I've been just talking about getting your book completed, right? Getting your book completed, and I threw a couple commercials in there about all those bottles. Of course, I was going to do that. So yeah, so there you go, folks. Get your book completed and make yourself feel happy. Make the world a better place, right? You want to make the world a better place, get some new information to people, right? Give them some knowledge, give them something funny, give them something romantic, give them some thriller, give them some self-help, give them some encouragement, give them some horror, whatever you gotta do. Books are in all types of genres, so let's just do it. All right. If there's no more comments, questions, I'm going to sign out for the night. I'm going to call it. I'm out of here. So the book spot is here, folks, the first and third Monday, 7:30. And it's on YouTube, and it's also on Facebook. And a couple of times, I think I might start doing a couple of reels and some YouTube shorts, take some highlighted parts, things like that. So just so people can get like some clips here and there, all that kind of stuff. They say that really, gets you out there and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for the night. If there's no more comment, I'm going to call it a night, call it an evening. And know that people going to watch the reruns. Hopefully, that it'll be a blessing to them. It'll encourage them to get it done, get it completed. They won't procrastinate. They won't be in fear, but they'll just do it. They'll just do it. Right. All right. So I don't see anything else. Because once I sign out, I'll be gone. All right, appreciate you. Thank you this evening for jumping on. All right.